You know, everywhere you look in the PvZ fandom, it's Garden Warfare 3 this, we want Garden Warfare 3 now, supposed leaks here and there, and it's kind of sad. There's a whole community that unironically believes PopCap in its current state can make Garden Warfare 3 when the company just can't. With this video, I want to explain why PopCap for the past 6-ish years have ignored what can only be described as the most demanded product possible, and why they haven't started anything surrounding it. If you want to stay up to date with all sides of the Plants vs. Zombies franchise, you can subscribe. Subscribing helps the channel a lot. To begin, let me explain how PopCap works for those who don't know. In this story, there are two sides of PopCap, Seattle and Vancouver. PopCap Seattle is the original heart of PopCap and is where the company first started all the way back in 2000. Seattle is their legacy, as they've made the casual PC games Plants vs. Zombies, Bejeweled, Peggle, etc. But today, they're also a mobile game studio and made games like PvZ Heroes and PvZ3. In 2011, shortly after EA acquired PopCap, the Vancouver branch was created, and this is where Garden Warfare was born. Both branches are very different. Both operate in different countries, work with different engines, and make entirely different kinds of games. But Vancouver hasn't been around in years. After the complete edition of Battle for Neighborville released on the Nintendo Switch, EA dissolved PopCap Vancouver and moved the developers to other projects. For example, Justin Weeb, who was the creative director of Garden Warfare, now works on EA's Battlefield franchise. So, in other words, the Garden Warfare team doesn't exist anymore. That's why when people complain about the state of the series on EA forums, they always get the same answer. There's nobody there to update the games. All of that means the people begging for Garden Warfare 3 on every PvZ tweet is asking the wrong team. They're begging PopCap Seattle, the mobile studio that's never developed a large-scale 3D multiplayer console game, to make Garden Warfare 3. Yeah, it's completely impossible for Garden Warfare 3 to be made unless EA licensed the PvZ IP to a different company, which they won't, or handed it off to another studio they own, or reassemble PopCap Vancouver. There is no Easter Bunny, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Garden Warfare 3. Now, just because PopCap Seattle works on the mobile games doesn't mean they're unaware of Garden Warfare, but they're not leaking anything as other YouTubers would try to tell you. It's just references and teases. The entire 2024 PvZ3 soft launch was themed around the zombies taking over Neighborville, with Zomboss running for mayor under the subtitle, Welcome to Zomburbia. And if you're a Garden Warfare fan, you know that Zomburbia is a huge plot point and a playable map in Garden Warfare 2. They've even put Garden Warfare characters in the mobile games, like Z-Mech in PvZ 2 and Landscaper in PvZ 3. PopCap Seattle knows people love Garden Warfare, that's why they keep referencing it. People see it and go, oh my god, they mentioned Garden Warfare, the series is saved! And then nothing happens, because Seattle doesn't make Garden Warfare games. It's just a massive pool of YouTubers clickbaiting and wild speculation because Garden Warfare 3 is what the community desperately wants to hear. People want to believe that this game is being made, when in reality, it's just cope. That's not even mentioning that Seattle uses a different engine compared to Vancouver, so if they were to theoretically do it, it would be fundamentally different. Seattle uses two engines, one being SecZap Framework, which is PopCap's very own internal engine, and Unity. Vancouver uses EA's engine, Frostbite. Plants vs. Zombies has fallen out of the public eye because PopCap spent 4 years doing literally nothing, and everything recent has sucked. Meanwhile, Garden Warfare 2 is still thriving. It's probably the most relevant official PvZ game right now. The dedicated PvZ fans have moved on to better ways to play, like mods or fan games, and to name a couple, were flourished in Gardenless. So Seattle leans into Garden Warfare references because they knows it pulls attention, even though most Garden Warfare fans never even cared about the tower defense games. If EA actually wanted to make Garden Warfare 3, they'd need to put together a whole new team. And it's not just pulling people from other games, they'd have to fill the gap that creates. So EA would have to hire an entire branch of new developers, artists, marketers, and so on. And that seems unlikely. If PopCap Seattle theoretically made Garden Warfare 3, it'd be a mobile game, and probably nothing like Garden Warfare 2. As much as I'd love for Garden Warfare 3 to exist, it probably won't. Some people say, well, if we keep pushing for it, EA will finally listen. But people have been pushing since, like, 2019? I'm not saying it's impossible, but given the state of EA and PopCap, it's incredibly unrealistic. There is no evidence PopCap is making the game. No job listings, none of the old developers are back, no credible leaks. Just speculation. You have some people out there begging for PvZ 3 to be cancelled because it's not the Garden Warfare 3 you wanted. Yeah dude, let's cancel a main series sequel to a totally separate part of the franchise that has its own dedicated fans just because you personally don't care about it. You're helping the community so much. While I absolutely don't like how modern PopCap treats the franchise, I think a lot of the community's frustration is self-inflicted. People watched that PvZ lo-fi music video expecting some kind of announcement, and when it was just music, they got mad. But PopCap never said there would be an announcement. You're letting your expectations distort reality, and what you demand is unrealistic. And seriously, why would they reveal a big new game through a lo-fi music video? Do people not think anything through? That'd be terrible marketing. They already learned their lesson from shadow dropping Battle for Neighborville out of nowhere. Speaking of that, some people now point to Battle for Neighborville and say that's actually Garden Warfare 3. People are just ignoring it. Which, no, it's not Garden Warfare 3. They explicitly said they changed the name because it was too different from Garden Warfare 2.
What is the game and why the name change?
Yeah, sure. So I'll talk about that a little bit. The goal when we started the game, we really wanted to rebuild it. We wanted to re-envision, we started with Garden Warfare 1, we did Garden Warfare 2, and it's a very character-focused game, and we wanted to basically blow it up and almost start from scratch in a way because there were a lot of things that we wanted to do differently. We wanted to do a deeper narrative. We wanted to create something that felt like you were battling for control of these areas. Thus, it didn't really make sense to continue calling it Garden Warfare. We changed out the characters. We changed how the characters play, swapped out weapons, abilities. We added some different characters. We wanted to make it more of a social game, as well as making sure that players had new ways of connecting together, and then being able to go out and go on these free roam regions to explore the world and to battle for Neighborville together. Sure. So it was really a complete overhaul of the entire experience, and also PvP for me is always the cherry on top.
Yeah, and a great one.
Oh yeah.
Battle for Neighborville is part of the Garden Warfare series, and yes, it is technically the third entry. It takes place after Garden Warfare 2, and its comic tie-in is literally called Garden Warfare Volume 3. A direct continuation of Volume 2, and that's not even counting all the reused assets from music, sound effects, models, all of that. If Garden Warfare 3 ever existed, it'd be the fourth game in the series. Confusing? Yeah, but that's just how it is. Again, I want Garden Warfare 3, I don't see why anyone wouldn't, but it's important to be realistic and actually understand the situation. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something from this. It's clear that the Garden Warfare 3 comments are getting on PopCap's nerves because they kept deleting them during the PvZ Lo-Fi live chat, and that's really funny to me.